Today is, of course, a very special day.
We're joined by a man who loves banana chips.
We are celebrating Kush Maini's win in Monaco.
Obviously, winning Monaco is a dream.
It's just one of 20 odd races that you're doing in a season. Banana chips, that's the best thing to possibly have. And since it is Kush's win, it's also a win for the entire family.
I'm proud when they say this is Kush's dad. And the difference in talent between Asia and Europe was very high.
What do we say about Kush Maini? Racing has been in his blood since day one. And how could it not be? His dad had a dream, and his elder brother Arjun took the first step. And you know what younger brothers are like. Papa, I want to race too. And so it began. The journey towards the pinnacle of motorsport. Finding your very best and representing the country along the way. Who says it's been an easy ride for Kush? There's still a long way to go. But today, we get to pause time and reflect on how far the brothers have come. This is the Inside Line F1 podcast, and we bring to you Alpine F1 reserve driver and the only Indian to ever win at Monaco, Kush Maini. He's not alone though. He's joined by a man of many accomplishments who'd rather just be known as Arjun and Kush's dad, Gautam Maini. What sort of a dad are you when the races are on? Because I know it must still sort of get you the butterflies, right? Just watching everything going on, particularly when the battles are as exciting as we saw in Monaco with Kush.
Yeah, I mean, you are nervous, you're anxious, you want to just wait for him to cross that finish line, first. So whatever it is, and how much ever you try to calm yourself, my alarm tells me that your heartbeat's gone above 100, you haven't done any activity. So there is a sort of a alarm to that. So I know that, okay, I'm a little more nervous than I thought I was, but that's a fact,
Now maybe we need the reverse now. Maybe we need you in a car and them watching on, because the opposite's been the story for so long.
That's not going to happen.
And I've now found out that you were racing in the past.
You never know. I said when once Arjun Kush is in Formula 1, then maybe I'll get into a car when both of them are settled, and maybe three of us do a race together someday.
You should, because we were discussing this off camera. I wasn't aware. You actually raced. You were there when Narain Karthikeyan made his first race as well.
Yes.
Back in the 90s something.
92, yeah.
That's phenomenal. I was not aware of this part, because I always used to wonder, like for a racing dad, and you mentioned that you used to give them so much advice in the early days. I was wondering, where did that knowledge come from? And clearly...
No, I was racing. I wasn't a good racer. I started too late,
it's never too late with the Fizmies.
I don't know. It was. I was much heavier. Those cars were really small. I would sit in the slipstream of somebody and I couldn't do anything. So I was 20 kgs probably heavier than all the racing drivers there. But it was a passion.
I'm not buying that. Raymond Balaji was much taller. His head used to poke out of the roll cage, but he still won.
I know. I won as well. Of course, I won one of the races. I think Parthiv came second, and Rio was in that race, or no, I don't remember. But I won a FISMI race. Yes, I have. But it's not been easy, because the cars were underpowered and you were always exceeding the weight. So it was not that easy, but I had fun. I didn't go there to win. I went there to have fun. Let's put it that way.
No, but with Kush and Arjun, both of them, you've been involved from the very ground level, right? As a dad, there's so many times where you have to go in, give some pieces of insight, some advice, how to tackle a few of these moments. I'm sure that must have happened a lot throughout the early journey, right?
Early journey was all the time there. So like I said, till they reached that level, I would video record their race. I would play it back and say, see, you made a mistake. See, this, you could have done this better. Or what do you think you could have done better? So we've done all of that, and that helped them, built them. So I would be very attentive, watching every corner, filming everything.
Mind you, at a time when you had lots of big businesses building at that time as well.
Yeah, luckily for me, the races were all Saturday, Sundays. So I worked like hell during the week, and then Saturday, Sunday, on the racetrack with a video recorder, monitoring everything that happens, checking their cars. It was great fun, because, in the end, when they went out there and won, it was a different feeling, and we raced as like a team, a family, and it was amazing, Those days of bonding, I would do anything for, and I'm so glad that I did it, because as a dad, there's no better feeling, and then to see him then come and win Monaco and for Arjun to do so many good things, you know, and now he's with Ford, you know, living his dream, you know.
The legendary Harp Racing team. They've won so much.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's a dream. There's just one step left for Kush now, and we just hope that that step can come at the right time, you know, to be in Formula One.
I want to talk particularly about Arjun as well, because as you mentioned, his journey paved the way for you folks. You learned so much, Kush learned so much in his footsteps as well. What is it particularly that you learned from his time in Formula 2 and just throughout the ladder that Kush has then been able to apply? Because his career kind of goes unsung in a way, because he's been the one to open everything up, to see all the challenges for what they were. And then of course Kush gets the second-hand knowledge as well, which he's used quite well, I must say.
So I think again, come back to the teams. You know, you have to be in a top team, and for some reason you have to believe that that top team remains top in the following year, because it's a very tough judgment to make, because you know, every car is set up differently, every driver drives it differently. You can see that all over the world. You know, it's like you saw that nobody can come into the Red Bull and perform so easily, because Max is a different level, and the way he drives is a different way of driving. People can't do it. So you start to see that in those differences. Otherwise, normally teammates would be closer to each other, because at that level you should be closer. You know, look at the other teams. You know, you're closer. But that's the difference, is to see, you know, to know, and you don't know till you get into the car, and you can't get into the car till you sign with the team.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, you have to do your homework, study what the team did last year, study what the, you know, where are they going wrong. And for him to take a judgment call on Dams, we found that Dams was a very good race car, but couldn't qualify as well. Kush was a great qualifier, so we said, you know what, maybe that works. You know, it took a few races to get there, but you know, he was P3 in the last qualifying in Barcelona, and if we didn't have that bad luck with the safety car, he would have had a great weekend, you know. But things happen, you know. But we saw pace, and we saw qualifying pace, and therefore it's only a question now of repeating those results, because the confidence is there after Monaco win and what happened in Barcelona. We know he can do it. So everything has to come together. Like I said, you know, racing a small thing can put you off. So most of the races till we raced in Asia were always together. So Arjun would race in a junior category, Kush would race in the micro or the mini category, and therefore it was like just like this whole team of us going and, you know, racing. And then when they started to win in Asia, that was a time I had to seriously think that they've got talent and we have to go to Europe. And the difference in talent between Asia and Europe was very high. So they won in Asia, went to Europe, you were P50 in your first race, something like that. You know, so you qualified at that level, and that's when Arjun, Kush, obviously Kush had that understanding because Arjun first went, and we realized the difference. And then Kush followed suit. Arjun at that time won the one from a billion. Correct. So he had that whole sponsorship of driving in Europe, which gave me an advantage of finding out everything before Kush came into Europe. So for Kush, it was a little less of a shock, because I told Kush, I said, Kush, you can win in Malaysia, but when you go to Europe, you could be last. It's that big a difference, you know, and that is the difference between racing in Europe and racing in India, and that's what happened in the beginning. And then Kush realized he had to work hard, and he committed himself, and the next year he won in WSK. Exactly. You saw that photograph with Max Verstappen. They were sitting on the press conference together, you know, and so that was really exciting. I was there at that time, and it was really, you know, powerful that he could actually within a year of training actually win a WSK race, which was amazing. So one thing led to the other, and you know, they had to grow up in Europe. There was no chance. It was tough for them, you know, the journeys back and forth. But the good thing was that Arjun was like led the path, the difficult path.
Exactly. It's kind of paving the way for him, right?
Kind of paved the way, and I learned a lot because, you know, we had never had any experience. Like Kush said, you know, these guys go half an hour, get to a kart track, and we have to go from here. There's no opportunity here. You know, the more the karts that run on the track, the more the rubber that settles in. There are tracks where you literally, you know, your car lifts because there's so much rubber. We went to La Conca once, and my shoes got stuck on the track.
I've heard that.
And I was like, what is this? This is what they race on. So So it's a very different feeling. You never see the tracks rubber up in the country. So how would you ever practice here? Even if you had a track, you couldn't be able to practice. The tires, and what they deliver, not possible. So we knew we had to compete in those countries, in Europe. And that's how the journey continued. And then, again with the experience from Arjun on single seaters, and Kush followed in single seaters as well. And, the British Formula 3 was one of his early single seater days. And he, he was third in that championship. It was really nice to see that he could fight in front in his first year in the British Formula 3. And then he did a year in Renault, which also went pretty decent considering we didn't have a top team. And top teams make a big difference. They have a great setup, and it's so important to be part of a top team. But when you're new and you're not there, it's difficult. So, but he was P6 in the championship, which was great. Again, a super experience for him, different car, different tracks. So also we didn't have the budget for testing. When you're in Europe, there's open testing in many of the series, and his competitors would test a lot, and we didn't have the budget to test. So it was like, that actually worked in Kush's favor. Today, Kush goes to any track, third or fourth lap, he's on it.
Yeah.
He's on the pace. But that came because actually he didn't have the chance to test, and therefore every time he had the chance, he had to make the best use of it. And that's actually worked in his favor. If you look at Kush, his qualifyings are normally very strong. That relates to how fast you can go there and deliver, that one lap pace.
Exactly.
And that helped him probably. It's been an amazing journey. I mean, right through the journey, obviously, you have palpitations, you're nervous. It doesn't matter how many races they've done. That little bit of nervousness is there. It's much less today. Used to be much higher earlier. But that, when they were younger, it was more that safety. When you're older and the cars today are so safe, you feel a little bit, safer. I mean, what happened to him in Baku a couple of seasons ago was catastrophic. But he just walked out. I was there, and it was a scary one. So, but in terms of safety, the cars are built so well that you have a lot of respect for the norms of those safety cockpits, right? But in karting, it was different. I remember this race with Kush where it was the first time he was racing in a shifter kart. And they're powerful karts, and he was, I think, hardly 15, and he was coming around the corner in Disanzano, and the car flipped. He touched somebody, car
Seen a
flipped.
picture of that one.
It was scary.
Upside down on his head.
Yeah, I ran to him, and I said, "Kush, are you okay?" And he's saying, "Yeah, I'm fine." I said, "No, let's go to the doctor and get it checked up." But the adrenaline is so high. Kush says, "No, there's no problem. There's nothing." And an hour later, we go to the doctor, and his collarbone is broken in two. It's literally broken like that. And, that's the kind of guy he is. He could take that kind of pain. I was shocked. And obviously, we stayed in the hospital that night, got him fixed, and they discharged him the next day, and we flew to India with the whole this thing, But he's been a tough guy. I mean, he can take a lot of pain. He's really worked hard. I mean, his training sessions are quite strenuous. A lot of times in the things I had to do is neck training, which you saw with the belt, and you have to pull, in some cases, 32 kgs load. You have a load cell that you monitor, and the time, and you see the reps. So I realized that his whenever I get the chance to see it, is wow, this is a different level of how you build your neck, how you build every part of your body, and how you bring the fat down. And so it's really interesting to see the massive level of focus that one has to have to build body, build mind. He's a great professional team around him. Yeah. So we have Hinsa as his performance team. Yes. They manage, I think, 15 Formula 1 drivers. So he's got that backing to take him professionally through that route, So he can focus on his driving. Obviously, he has his sessions with Mika, with different people, and gets those inputs. I've seen him mature so much in his conversations. And obviously, as a father, I stay completely out. I think after they were 12 years old, or Kush was 12 years old, I said, you know what, they know more than me.
Which is tough as a racing dad, by the way, because most racing dads...
Yeah, so you have to back off. So after 12, I got all professionals involved. I backed off and I became a dad. not a manager or a coach. And I think that's so important for people to understand. Obviously, I'll still be emotional because he's my son if something went wrong. And, it took me a while to bring my emotions to a level where, it doesn't show outside, because you want to be in that world. It has to be a professional world. And as a father, you need to be that profession. People, when they see you or meet you, they have to think of you as someone, and a professional father, I would say, would keep away.
Yeah.
Simple. You come there, you enjoy the race and you go. You have no business to comment or say anything, on the track, because you've trusted all the professionals, you have a professional team, they have a mechanism, and you don't want to interfere. It's like in your company, if you're running your company and somebody comes from outside and comments who doesn't know.
Yeah.
You have to understand that, and I think as somebody who's also built a company, I can understand that much more, and therefore you've got to respect the space. Then you need to give them that you're the dad and you're nobody else.
But I'd love to touch upon this as well, the occasion. Why are we here? Because the Raymond Group are, of course, celebrating Kush's win. It's a milestone for them as well. What does this partnership mean for you particularly? Because from what I've heard, Mr. Singhania has been there in this journey for a very, very long time, almost since the first few races, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's been there. I still remember about 5 years ago when Arjun was at Monaco.
Yeah.
And Mr. Singhania was there, with him. One of the races, Ravi Shastri and him were there together and came with Arjun. So, so there's been a background to being there, because Monaco in the end, you race, if you're in Formula 2, you race in Monaco.
Yeah.
So last 3 years, Kush has raced in Monaco. Time before that, after a few years, Arjun had raced twice in Monaco. So there is a band out there that you get to see and meet, and then over time it built. So to that extent, it's been a great journey. Yeah.
So driving or being a racing driver, Dad, what's more fun?
Today, being a racing driver dad, because I have two of them, and there are some weekends where I watch. I have 2 TV screens, 1 laptop, 1 phone, 2 live timings. It's crazy, because there are at least 6 to 7 weekends where they're both racing at the same time.
Like Monaco, Arjun was driving at the same time.
So Monaco, Kush and Arjun were driving at the same time. I finished the race, I'm putting my phone on to see where Arjun is. Sometimes I'm lucky it's not the same time. But if it's the same time and I'm at one of the races, then it's really not easy to see the other race, And I want to know what both are doing. So it's fun. Let's put it that way.
No, but it's so cool that both of them are there where they are, making India proud. And for that, generally, I have to say thank you on behalf of all of us, because we as racing fans, I'm sure you must have been one as well at a time.
Absolutely.
You know the pain of not having anyone represented from your country. And so the fact that your household has created 2 of them, that's a great situation. So very grateful for what you guys have done.
No, I'm so proud of both. They've done a great job, tough job. It's not been easy, and I'm so happy where they are. And nothing better than living your passion, I always believed in that, and both are living their passion, and that's what I'm happy about. In the end, it's about, are you happy?
Yeah.
So I hope they are.
I'm super happy to have you on camera as well. But thank you. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much, Soumil. Take care. Thanks.
Today is a special day. We're at the JK House. For all of you who are not quite aware, the JK House is the home of the Raymond Group. And it's a special occasion because firstly, the Raymond Group is celebrating 100 years. And we've gotten a man today on the Inside Line F1 podcast who's given us a memory that is worth 100 years. Kush Maini, straight off from Monaco and now Barcelona. You're here with us, Kush. And first off, congratulations. Monaco is huge. That smile is beaming even after a couple of weeks. How does it feel, dude? Like, did you sometimes randomly at night or in the middle of the day just laugh and say, yeah, I did that, man? Has that feeling ever come by?
Honestly, obviously winning Monaco is a dream. At least me, when I started thinking about Formula 1 and playing the PlayStation game, it was always around Monaco because you just keep crashing and it was tough. So winning there in Formula 2, the second tier, is a dream come true. And I'm definitely still very happy, but in my journey, I feel like I have a lot more to achieve. And that's why I feel like I'm very proud of what we achieved. That the national anthem played loud in Monaco on a Saturday in front of so many people. But also I know that there's a long season ahead, and my goal is far away still, and there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, how do you view it? Because for sure, like for the rest of us, it's Monaco, it's the glamour, it's the glitz. And I'm sure you see a lot of it right from when you walk in. But it's just another race, isn't it? It's just one of 20 odd races that you're doing in a season.
It is. It's the same points as any other race. It is Monaco and it is special for sure. Trophy is very nice as well. But at the end of the day, this is a championship and my goal is to fight for the championship, not for just Monaco. And to do that, there's gonna have to be a lot more of those wins, which I feel we can achieve. I'm in a good place with the team. I really feel positive for what's ahead, and I feel there's a lot more to show.
And qualifying, because we saw that in Monaco and Barcelona, that's turning out to be a key strength. That could be the way forward, right? Just capitalizing on those good results.
Obviously, you know, I got loads of top 3 results in my 2023 season in F2, in my rookie season in quali. It was probably the strongest part. 2024 was very good in the start, and then obviously for a lot of reasons which I can't really go into now, but fell off, and it was a disaster second part. But this year I feel like even though it's taken a bit of time to start, obviously changing team is never easy. I feel like we've built solid foundations, and the last 2 weekends have been a showing of all the work the team and I have put in the background, and I really do believe we're only going to get stronger.
Yeah, what is that work like? Because we know what it's like in Formula One. There's lots of fitness training, lots of data analysis. Is it of a similar scale in F2 as well? Because you've seen that F1 side through your role with Alpine as well, haven't you?
So I work very closely with the team. I live there. I have a small little apartment, like 15 minutes away from the workshop. I spend a lot of time on the sim, developing the sim, speaking to my engineer, coming up with ideas, understanding how the tires are going to work on each track. There's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot more that I'm doing now that I didn't do the last 2 years. And it's starting to pay off. I feel like I'm driving the strongest I've driven. Race pace is fantastic. The car feels great. And yeah, I feel it's really on the upswing. I honestly can't wait for what's to come.
Is that the biggest challenge about Formula 2? Just understanding and adapting to a team? Because I've heard all the teams are so different, right? The way they function, the processes, the cars, of course, that's a different matter altogether. But just settling in, that must take so much time and energy, as we saw in the first half of this year.
For sure, I think every car has their own philosophy. Even though they're the same chassis, same engine, you'd be surprised how different it feels from a driver's perspective sometimes. Because teams, they set up their car differently. They have different philosophies, how low they run the car, where they use the aero. You know, some teams might end up at the same aero level, but some might get it by lowering the car, some might get it by more flap. So it's a very different philosophy. And sometimes it can really work in one track and your philosophy actually changes to the next. So that's why in F2 it's so exciting. And that's why we always say everything needs to click, because everything does. In a day you can honestly drive the best you've ever driven and you can be nowhere, or you can drive averagely and be P1. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's got to be the right time, the right place. So everything has got to click, but I feel like the work you put in the background can help that come more often.
It's interesting you say the word exciting, because that's for us on the other side of the screen. For you, it must be nerve-wracking, right? So many unpredictable variables, drivers. I mean, we saw in Monaco, it almost became an F1 open lobby, like at turn 1 in the feature race. So it's crazy as a driver competing in this category.
I think like even before you start every quali lap, you know, there's that one lap where you have the low fuel at the end of the session with the new tires, and you know you have one lap to get the peak. And you go into it and you're like, did I warm them up well? Because these tires are very sensitive, and each tire, each compound needs a different way of warm up. So it actually, from free practice to quali, when you change your compound, your whole process changes. So going into that lap, you're like, I hope it's ready, and then you brake for turn 1 and you try and make the most of the braking, and that's when you instantly know if you've done enough to switch them on or if they're not in the window. And that's what I mean. Like you can have a car that feels amazing. You don't change the car, you change the warm-up, and it feels like really bad. So much can change with just that. So it just shows you the amount of detail that goes into to each little thing.
And I suppose belief must be such a big factor of it all. For you as a driver, for the team as well. With Monaco, I'm sure that's back now, right? Because the start seemed so tough, but then following it up with a good qualifying in Barcelona, and just luck not being on your side in that race to get a podium. So I'm pretty sure that confidence must be back in the whole team.
For sure, I think Jeddah already was very strong for us. We had a few issues with the engine side, which F2 and the team helped us really quickly to solve. But obviously, it meant these things can't happen overnight. It was no one's fault, but it means we lost that weekend, which was very strong for me. As I love the track, and I feel it would have been a very strong weekend. So going after that, it was tough to sort of take that on the chin, and I feel that Imola mistake in quali came from that almost that desperation. But then everything clicked in Monaco. It gave me the confidence I needed, and then it clicked again in Barcelona with some unlucky moments, but the pace was probably the strongest of anyone in the races. So it just shows that everything we're doing behind the scenes is working, and we just got to keep doing our job.
It'll come, man. It'll come. But about Monaco, actually, this is the prize from Monaco. Banana chips. That's best thing to possibly have. How do you celebrate, actually? Because I saw a few pictures. Mr. Singhania was, of course, there. Your dad was also there. A very special moment for all of them. But the whole party, how has it sunk in for you, firstly, that you've done this, and then did you go out and have the typical Monaco celebration as we all know it?
Unfortunately, I had the feature race the next day, so
after that, perhaps, on the Sunday night.
And then there was another race. It was a back-to-back. So, but honestly, I don't know. I feel like I haven't achieved anything yet. I know I've won Monaco, but my goals are very much bigger than just winning a race and a special race. And for my country as well, it's a lot bigger. So I hold myself to a very high standard because I know I can do it. So yeah, I'm sure. I mean, this win means the world to me. It's definitely my fondest memory of racing in my whole career. But again, there's a lot more for me to achieve. So for me, it's just I remember after Monaco and Barcelona, it was a back-to-back 3 weeks, and I spent the next week at the workshop in Le Mans with my team. So yeah, for me, the season's just getting started. There's a long way to go, and we have a lot of progress to make or catch up to play because we're quite far back now.
I know you're very humble. You're not going to list out all your achievements. But in terms of legendary racetracks, you've won at Brands Hatch, you've won at Donington, you've won Hungaroring and Monaco. All pretty special. Where does this one rank? And not just in terms of tracks, but also in terms of the fun while winning. Because all of them were such different races, different classes. Was this a fun race as a driver to win? Because a lot of people say Monaco you just can't pass. But then I'm thinking the barriers, I'm thinking the bumps, I'm thinking the quality of driver behind you as well, and how everything's going on. And that for me seemed like a very calm and composed performance under pressure.
No, obviously, I remember starting the race, and I know I had really good pace in Monaco. I think we should have qualified even higher, so I was confident, but I had a brake issue from the start, which brake issue is the last thing you want on a street track that narrow.
Especially with turn one right around the
I
corner.
remember I was coming to the Raskas like 4 laps to the end, and I locked up because one of my rear brakes fell asleep, and they were fully dead, and that put a lot of strain on the front brakes, and I locked up and I nearly went in the wall, and that's when I was like, oh my god, it could have just ended there. So that just like almost woke me up and said, that yes, it's very difficult to pass, but it's never a given that you can't just close your eyes, You lose 1 second of focus and you're in the wall, and that's done. So
I can't imagine what it must be like in the cockpit, because on the PS, which is where we started our racing journey, it's so crazy to do a 20-minute sprint race at Monaco. You guys are doing longer, and then in the car with all those speeds, and then, I don't know how, man. I don't know how.
It was definitely nerve-wracking, and my academy teammate from Alpine kept me honest the whole race. And yeah, I think the mistake kept me hyper-focused as well. But I definitely don't want to relive that race. It was a scary one from my side, and I'm just glad we won it.
And it's so great to be celebrating right here with the Raymond Group as well. But on the Alpine role, on being an Alpine reserve driver, it's great. I mean, we saw you testing an Alpine Formula 1 car last year, and that made so many of us so happy, including you. And I remember we were able to, you broke the news at an event we did together in Bangalore, and hundreds of people went crazy, and then thousands further on social media. For us, we're also proud seeing everything, and we saw the reports. We saw that you were quick. We saw that the team was pretty impressed with your determination and your work ethic as well. What's it been like with Alpine now? 2025, there's obviously a lot changing at the team, but has it affected you and your role in particular?
Look, my rule is clear. I've warranted not enough results in Formula 2 to warrant the seat. I know that. That's why I'm in Formula 2. But also, there's a reason I'm reserve. It's because the test went really well, and it's because of my speed, my raw speed, which I've shown many times flashes off in F2. Alpine have belief that I have the speed, but I need to back that up with solid results now, and that means fighting for a championship. And so for me, that's my only focus is Formula 2 and that championship. I think I take the reserve drivers like a vote of confidence from a very important organization, but it's just a vote of confidence, and I have to still do the job.
And with the season ahead, hopefully there's more reasons for them to put you in a Formula 1 car again. But fingers crossed for that. Once again, Kush, congratulations, and more importantly, all the best for the year ahead.